100 Thieves and Crew faced off in a critical match, not only to determine who the one seed in Americas was, Crew won with this victory, it would have been Sentinels actually if 100 Thieves won, but to determine how good they really look in time for playoffs. Are they going to be able to make it far, or is someone going to be a first round elimination? Crew looked very sharp. 100 Thieves did not. It was 9-13 on Icebox, and to be honest, it felt a lot less close than that. So Crew dominated with a Harbor Viper comp, which, as you know, I'm a big fan of. I want written apologies from all of you who told me that Solo Viper was fine in the Demon 1 video. I cannot remember a single Solo Viper comp beating a Harbor Viper comp in Americas thus far this stage. It's clearly better. I'm a ball knower. Shut up. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the other factors that caused 100 Thieves to lose this game to Crew, kind of crash their seeding, and let's see if they're fixable for playoffs. On Crew's buy round here, they do the kind of standard Molly denial, right? Where you use that shock dart and that Viper's Molly as well to deny the orb, and then the KJ Molly to deny the space. I personally, honestly, think that this is a bit too much of an investment, especially on a map like Icebox. I think you could save a Molly or something for post. I think this was more for when Viper had 2 Mollies. Now, with having that 1 Molly, it's better. I think the 1 Molly would definitely be sufficient. No need to use that extra shock dart, although obviously the space gain from the KJ Molly is nice. But what I want to talk about what Boostio does here, because some people are going to look at this and go, oh my goodness, he's brain dead. But here's the thing. He is holding a ton of space. No one is going to expect your Sentinel, the only person on this bomb site, to turn and try and take this fight. No one's going to expect it. The issue is that no one's going to expect it because it's pretty brain dead to do. Now, if he had won the gunfight, we're probably singing a different tune, but it just doesn't make too much sense, but I do get what he was trying to do here. Now, Cryo with the op, again, this is how oppressive the Harbor can be in tandem with the Viper. That Viper smoke is going down, but the Harbor one is still there, blocking all of the value you would have gotten from that operator, right? Literally all of it. You're forced to save here. Like, there's not a way back into the site with how much you can just recycle and refresh the Harbor and the Viper smokes. Again, ball knower. I'm sorry, it's like the first time I predicted something with the meta and I was correct, so I'm very happy. But I have a way that you can help me and, you know, apologize for your sins of not believing in my predictions on Icebox. My PC is awful and it started to impact my content. For the PC nerds out there, I'm running a 1050 Ti, which is not very good. However, my organization, Hikikimori, has generously offered to get me a completely free PC with 25 uses of code LIONS on their shop. Now, that doesn't only help me, it helps you with 20% off of your order. Now, I cannot recommend the merchandise enough. It's the only esports merch I've ever seen that I would wear outside. In fact, I'm wearing some right now, as you can see on the back here. It looks great. It feels great. It's 100% organic cotton. So go ahead, place your order with code LIONS. Link is in the pinned comment description. Remember, you get 20% off your order with code LIONS. This is the most comfortable hoodie I think I've ever worn. So with that, let's get back to the video and remember to order so that I can help you guys out with better content. I was going to just put it on for the sponsorship segment, but the hoodie genuinely feels good. Anyways, Crew go ahead and go over towards the A site, and this is something that'll just show the power of this Harbor. First off, using the utility to deny the vision of anyone here that isn't where Cryo is, where he immediately is going to get droned out. Wonderful job there. But Boostio is up mid because he has his turret in kitchen. Now I want you to look at what Harbor does. He says you are in this A site or you are out, and EU is out. He backs up a little bit and he's like, I'm in, I'm out. While he decides whether he's in or out, Kesnet decides to get 2 kills. And just like that, I mean, on Icebox, the round is pretty much over. Look at this. The cove used right there, and you've planted, which is the hardest thing to do on Icebox, especially against this comp of 100 Thieves that has 4 mollies because of Harbor. Again, he's so great on this map. I highly recommend, if you're in a Premier team, if you're in a Tier 3 team, if you're in a Tier 2 team, hell, if you're in a Tier 1 team, use Harbor Viper. I promise it's worth it. I was a Gecko believer, but Harbor Viper is simply better, and there's too much that's shown to do that. One thing that Crew were good at, and Harbor enables you to be better at this with more flexibility about rotations, is pulling rotations and hitting sites and faking sites. So here's what I mean. KJ is over here lurking on B, while the rest of the team is over on A. KJ is mostly here, to be honest, to just make sure there's not any aggressive push-up on A from Cryo. Kazna goes 1 for 1, but when he does that, Crew stop, and they go, wait, we can go back B. Xander got this kill. I guarantee you 100 Thieves are A, and they are. So Xander is now solo holding this site with no KJ util because Kesner got the kill on the Boostio. So now he has to do everything. Pops Viper ult, but wait, Harbor ult is used to counter it. draw him out. Now he does get one here, and it looks like he might be able to hold the site down. However, does a bit of whiffage on Melzer. Now, again, more value from the Harbor. I swear I'm not doing this just because I said Harbor was good. He actually provides so much value. You can't get back into the site. They have to pop the Gecko ult because otherwise that plan is going down and they could not have stopped it. However, Shy here on yellow does a beautiful job to save his teammates and win the round for Crew. Absolutely wonderful example of how you have flexibility to go to whatever site you want when you have Harbor. Not as much when you have Viper, and then just how Harbor utility can be used to forcibly yank the site away from 100 Thieves. Crew have a really nice Harbor wall here to cut off B, make it very uncomfortable to go there, and then to try and act like they've scaled up mid. Now, they can scale up mid behind this wall. 100 Thieves would have no idea, and that's the threat, that there are people right here that can flank you within about 5 seconds, which is why, as you can see, 100 Thieves are going over towards A immediately. They do not want to get caught on the rotation when this Harbor wall falls. Now, they're over on A, and Crew know it, right? Crew know they haven't seen anything B. Their alarm bot isn't going off on B. They have the turret mid. It completely nullifies the Viper smoke thing, the orb as well. And then this Viper smoke goes down, and yeah, 100 Thieves were completely unprepared and just get aim diffed, to be quite honest with you. I mean, there's not too much else to say. Not the greatest trades because there were none. But don't get me wrong, 100 Thieves are no pushover. They just death ball through A. And when I say death ball, I truly mean death ball, W key out. We're going to run and we'll die, but we might kill some of them on the way. And in fact, they're able to kill quite a few, as you can notice here, using that Gecko utility. And again, I'm a Gecko believer. I like Gecko on Icebox. I think in a map where a big part of the map is denying plant, it's nice to not have a player focused on planting and instead have Wingman. Some whiffage there from the side of Crew, and Cryo able to end up getting them numbers advantage, which quickly traded out. However, with Cryo having the Guardian on site and then Asuna also being there, it's a very weird situation because again, Kesna has a Marshal and Mazino has a Ghost. So the weaponry, even though it was technically the bonus round for Crew, is on the side of 100 Thieves. And then Asuna on a rope, you know what's going to happen, gets the kill and secures the round there for 100 Thieves. And I thought the game was going to go a lot differently here, but the power of Harbor is about to be shown. Look at this round. They do the same wall, and 100 Thieves immediately recoil as soon as they see it. Ah, no, that is very scary. Do not get me near that. Even though they could cross behind their own Viper wall, they instead just want to wait it out. They want to chill, act like they've rotated, hopefully pull rotations away from the B site so that they can go here. Then this drone spots Mazzino, he backs off, but now you have nothing of the site, and that's why you see Kesna over here with the rifle that they forced, kind of a hero rifle, going over yellow, because they can't clear him with a drone. You have to put bodies there. That's what you want. Now, I don't like the peak personally. I think that if they were going to go here, it would have been better for him to kind of stay behind yellow, but it does make 100 Thieves run away. The issue is that by doing that, the only person on the A site is Melzer with a Sheriff. Now, I'm glad they didn't do their rifle over here in this spot like 100 Thieves did last game, but he gets spammed out and dies just almost instantly, to be honest. And against that Gecko, I don't think that was ever really going to work out, but does give them information. Now, with this Harbor wall cycled on top of the Viper wall, again, 100 Thieves decide, no, that's scary as well. Let's go back over to the B-bomb site. And they've done a great job manipulating rotations. They're not a player is on this site from Crew. Boost you has a good lurk. Everything looks good, right? We're doing our lineups. Lil Bro's going to plant. Right? But the issue with this boosty lurk is it was an eco round for Crew. Now, I'm not saying I disagree with the lurk. I do like having the presence, but he's double negative. Probably needs to hit the labs here. And he's going to get killed by Adverso, which gives the rifle to him. Now meaning this rifle starved team has 3 rifles. But the biggest genius of all of this, look at what Sova's been doing this entire time. Look at this. Instead of going in with his team after he gets the kill, he goes behind them. 100 Thieves have no idea about this. So while everyone else is fighting on site, trading out, he just does a Lionzblade impression and crouch sprays the 2 people who aren't looking at him and gets the kills. If I haven't converted you into a believer yet in Harbor, I don't know what will, but this could help. See, the Viper wall, again, after the fuel nerfs, it's not going to last a long time, and this op is known from Kesnet. 100 Thieves know he's whipped this out. So when this goes down, he's going to have a good angle on them. So instead, I have to invest a Viper Molly that they could have used to stall if they were in a post-plant scenario, Not only that, but also a KJ molly to get him to back up, when if you had a Harbor, you would literally just use his E as Crew did on their attack side. Again, just very, very useful. Anyways, 100 Thieves won this round. Let's move to another one. On this last round, Harbor is again utilizing the same wall, but this time he uses it to get ult orb. After all, 100 Thieves have shown they're not going to push past this, so he just gets the orb here. Kessin is pushing up super aggressively on A, to be quite honest with you, backs up, thankfully, for Crew, because he was going to end up dying there, in my humble opinion, but continues to try for this, right? He wants the information, he wants to get a kill, he wants to end the game, to be quite honest, but it doesn't really end up working out. Mizzino, again, uses Harbor Wall, and they go over towards A. Now, this is the important thing. Watch Viper on the minimap, because even when this drone sees the 100 Thieves players and Harbor starts to rotate, Viper stays back here, because Viper knows Boostio has been very, 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 very willing to call rotations. Hasn't able to get that Gecko ult offline, but dies, however, traded out by a Verso. But again, look at where Viper is. Even while they're executing, he's still over towards B, because he knows this Harbor ult is probably going to make Boostio rotate. Now, he's back here, and he can tell them, hey, this Viper wall was up. He doesn't see anything, but he knows. And there's about to be a mistake that I truly think 100 Thieves could have won the game, if not for, at the very least, taking it to overtime. But you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. The Thrash gets reused here, and to be honest, Viper is cooked. But this Sova ult does not hit him. Slow motion on that. The Sova ult doesn't get a single tag on him. He gets a kill, and I said, while I was watch partying, again, I watch party all these Team America's games, you should join up, they just lost the game. And you know what? They did. Mizzino uses the Harbor Wall to cut up the site and separate EU from Asuna. Now, EU immediately has to run towards them. Asuna isn't able to get a kill. EU does get one, but nothing more. And in a very fitting way to end this game, Harbor kills 100 Thieves. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please use Harbor Viper on your Icebox comps, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Click on one of these two videos if you like my content, and I'll see you next time. Peace.